Oh, yes. Oh, yes. 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 Oh, God. Woo. Yes. I normally work Saturdays. I have this Saturday off, and I am going to watch a lot of college football. Very excited. Very excited to watch college football. For those of you who don't know who missed Wednesday's show, I correctly predicted incorrectly bet on Green Bay to cover 6.5. They won outright. I already made a bet. I already made one bet for this week's games, but there are several games I really like. I'm going to break down every single one of them. I've only made one bet, but I'm going to make more. I might even do a prop bet. By the way, Mike is not going to be in tonight. He is going to a Stones concert, which is awesome. You're not going to believe this, folks. Let's just start off with this here, because Mike predicted not just the cover, but the upset win for win number one. The Detroit Lions at home hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. Mike predicts a Lions win. Forget 3.5. Mike says Lions win. Game number one out of the chute. Mike is predicting a Lions win. He's at Stones concert, but Mike is predicting a Lions win. And you know what? I think he's right. I think the Lions win outright. They're 3.5. I'm tempted to take that 3.5. I'm so tempted to take that 3.5 because I think they win. I think they get win number one. I really do. Mike actually, I think, put action on it. But yeah, James, welcome, brother. I got funk in the house. Yeah, Mike predicted a Lions victory, and I'm going to piggyback off that. I got the Lions winning as well. If I do bet on it, I am going to take the 3.5. But yeah, I think they win. I think they win. Denver Gator, what is up, brother? Man, I'm really excited. You know what? It's funny because I'm all excited to watch Michigan State, but Georgia and Florida have a very good game. If I'm correct, they play Saturday. Ranking the best college football rivalries, I will put Michigan State, Ohio State number one, Auburn, Alabama number two. But I personally think it's a little better because I like it. For those of you that don't know, it's called the world's largest cocktail party. I think they've tried to outlaw it, but Georgia and Florida play in Jacksonville in the world's largest cocktail party. There's not many rivalries better than that one. I don't know if that's number 3 or not, but yeah. So I do have action on one game. Mike is predicting a Lions victory, and I'm going to piggyback. I think the Lions get win number one. I really do. I might, if I do bet on the Lions game, I'm hesitant because Luke G promised me a Lions victory against the 49ers. He guaranteed it, and we all know what happened. And I'm going to give you advice too about betting. A little 101 betting is don't bet on bad teams. You know, they're very hard to predict. But I do like this one. I really like this one. I haven't put action on the Lions yet, but I do like the Lions actually to win outright. But if I bet on the Lions, I'm definitely going to take 3.5. So I'm going to break down every single game, plus reveal the game I already put action on. I won Thursday night. So even with the game I put action on, I put $100 into my bookie account. I just do 25. I just bet $25 a game. All right, I'm at $107.41 right now. And that includes the 25 I already bet on one game. There's like 3 or 4 games I'm going to put action on. I've only put action on one, but there's several games I like. I kind of hope that I can get some opinions from you guys. And I might try to break my streak on prop bets. I have not hit a single prop bet all year. I may try to break that. So anyway, let's start off with game number one. And this is a game I am not going to touch, but I think you can tell the direction I would go. Miami travels to Buffalo. Buffalo is a 14-point favorite. I don't like taking 14 points. The over-under is 48.5. I did a little research on this game. The weather is not good. 10, 20-mile-an-hour winds, morning showers, so it could be wet could be rainy, it could be windy. For those of you that don't know, when it comes to NFL betting, football teams can play in the rain, they can play in the snow, but wind's a big one. If 10, 20 miles an hour with some rain. 48.5 is normally a low number for the Bills. High-powered offense. Miami, of course, just not really connecting. But bottom line, I would avoid this one. If you do bet on it, I would take the under, but Miami's kind of a train wreck. Buffalo, is in really good shape. So I kind of like Buffalo, but I don't bet on teams to cover 14 in the NFL. Am I betting money line? No. It's actually 3.5, and I would definitely take the hook. Definitely taking 3.5. I haven't put action on Detroit yet, but I am very, very tempted to go ahead and take the Lions to cover 3.5. I'm still, Luke G promised, he guaranteed me a victory week 1, and I took 7.5 before it went up to. Actually, it ended up at 9, but I got 7.5. And for those of you that don't know, the Lions lost by 8, so I'm kind of mad about that. So, if you guys won't beat the Giants, yes, that's Corey, man. Welcome, brother. If the Chiefs lose to the Giants, it's big time problems. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change gears. Before I break down the other games, there were some potential trades. I actually saw on Instagram before it was announced on ESPN that Deshaun Jackson was going to be released. It turned out to be that was not true. He's seeking a trade. Devonte Parker apparently is on the trading block. These are two high-profile wide receivers. I would love Deshaun Jackson to reunite with Andy Reid in Kansas City. I think that would be a dream scenario for, I think, both people. To be perfectly honest, Devonte Parker, very talented receiver. I don't know how true that is with Devonte Parker, but Deshaun Jackson is being deactivated for the game. So I actually think that if he's not traded, he could be in fact cut. And he's somebody who I would really love to have in a Chiefs uniform. I have to see what happens. But if the Chiefs don't beat the Giants, they're in bad shape. And I kind of want to talk about it because I'm kind of meant to start off with it. I'm extremely jacked up, and I'm extremely happy because I haven't had a chance to have a Saturday off in a very, very long time. But with Green Bay winning, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams in the NFC with 1 loss. Is this a great season for football? Is this a great season to be a football fan? 5 teams in the NFC with 1 loss. Then you go to the AFC and you have 6 teams with 2 losses. What a great season. This is a great season. This is just phenomenal. Next game, another game I am tempted to put action on. I'm going to kind of dive into this a little bit. Carolina travels to Atlanta. Atlanta is a 3-point favorite. Atlanta's been really hot, and Carolina's been falling all over themselves. I do like Atlanta, but I kind of want to dive into this because if Gilmore plays, I'm wondering if the defense is resurrected, that tough man defense, CMC. I don't know off the top of my head if he's going to play and if he's 100%. I might flip-flop on this and go with Carolina because I don't think Atlanta solved everything yet. I mean, I like the fact Pitts is playing really, really well, but I might just put action on Pitts and Matt Ryan getting it done. I want to do a little more research, but this is kind of a fun game. Over-under is 46.5. Carolina's defense was playing really good earlier in the year. It's kind of falling apart. I might just take the over just for the fun. This is going to be an interesting game. I kind of want to dive in on. I don't have action on this one. Red Sea says, I'm going to save my rage for AJ Green on Wednesday. Yeah, man, we'll talk a lot of Cardinals Wednesday, man. I want to hear your opinion. You and you and Alex were adamant. You thought Arizona was the best team in the NFC. After all these games are played this week, let's see if you guys have that same opinion. So yeah, here to rage on AJ Green. We'll hear your thoughts on that JJ Watt, man. I'm looking forward to Wednesday, man. It's going to be a good time. I'm not. My opinion on Arizona, despite the loss, really hasn't changed. I think that Arizona is a better team than Green Bay. I just think that a short week, a major injury, a lot of things happen. But if these two teams were to play in the playoffs, I would say whether it's in Green Bay or in Arizona, I would take I'm at today right now the way things are. I would take the second time around. I would give the advantage to Arizona, believe it or not. But just the Thursday night game, I liked Green Bay, and of course I took 6.5. I didn't take the money line. So Detroit and Philly. I do like Detroit to cover 3.5. I do think they're going to get their first win. I'm going to check out prop bets because I do think that this could be a game you may want to put some action on Jalen Hurts running or passing. I don't have the prop bets available yet. I could see Hurts having a big game, even though I do think the Lions will win. I think Hurts could have a big game. I may pass on this game completely, just put some action on Jalen Hurts. So, Funk, I'm here. What did I miss? Here's what you missed, Funk, is Mike said he is picking the Lions, not just to cover 3.5. He likes the Lions to win outright, and I'm piggybacking off of it. So what you missed was that we all like Detroit to get win number 1 on Halloween. I think that's a good bet. I think this is surprising, but it kind of makes sense. Tennessee's traveling to Indianapolis. Tennessee, despite their wonderful performance against my Chiefs, are a 2.5-point dog at Indianapolis. I'm not surprised because Indianapolis is looking a lot better, and Tennessee is due for a letdown. I don't know if they're going to let down on a divisional game, but it really doesn't matter because Tennessee could lose this game and they would drop to 5-3, where Indianapolis would be 4-4. So if Tennessee loses this game, it's only one game. But if they win this game, they put a significant gap between them and the Colts. I actually may put some action. This may be a good time to prop bet. This may be a good time to prop bet a guy I have a major man crush on, Jonathan Taylor. I can see Taylor having a big game, and of course Derrick Henry having a good game. So this is going to be a fun game. I actually like Tennessee. I know that they're kind of due for a letdown sooner or later, but I just think they have a better team, man. I really do, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Colts won. Prop bets on the overs for the rushing. Tim, haven't been here for a while, but watched all the shows. Great stuff. You're going to love that Walker kid. I know. I'm giddy. I'm actually excited because I'm going to watch both Michigan State, and then Ohio State and Penn State. Because what I've seen so far, Ohio State looks like they got more speed and athleticism. Michigan has an older, more veteran team. I think this may be the year that Michigan beats Ohio State. And I know I'm jumping ahead, but that's, I talked about earlier in the show. I think the number one rivalry in college football is Michigan, Ohio State. So I think this might be the year Michigan breaks that drought, no matter what happens here. As far as Michigan State, their coach is linked in to be the prime candidate at LSU, I believe, and it kind of makes a lot of sense. He was the offensive coordinator at Georgia. He's been tapping into that SEC pipeline, and the winner of the Michigan State-Michigan game is going to be a national championship contender until they lose. I have not watched Walker play at all this year. I have no idea if he's a Heisman candidate. Keep in mind, I'm going to tell you something. Walker doesn't have to win this game to race to the top of the Heisman list. But if he has a big game, win or lose, I think he could be at the top of the Heisman list. Also, I watched Michigan play last week. That defensive end, Hutchinson, I believe. I don't know if it's because he wears 97 or not, but he looks like one of the Bosa twins or brothers. He looks like one of the Bosa brothers. I believe his name's Hutchinson. They were saying he runs like a 4.62 at 275, and you know me, I don't believe any of the stuff reported, but he could be a guy that jumps in draft stock, because we're going to talk a lot of draft stock here. He may be a guy who's jumping from a first round pick to maybe a top 5 pick. And I know that may sound crazy, but he may be on par. I think Thibodeau's clearly a better player, but he may reach up to be that next defensive end in the draft. He could go as high as 2. I think he could be that good. I mean, I don't know if it's because he wears 97 or not, but that's kind of who he reminds me of. So I'm really excited to watch that. I also want to watch Ohio State, Penn State. It should be a fun game. I believe Florida, Georgia goes on. I think they're all staggered too. So I guess Saturday off, Tim, and I have a feeling you're going to be doing the same thing I'm doing, watching a buttload of college football. Man, Tim, it's great to see you, man. It's really great to see you, man. Dan, you nailed that pick with the Packers, yes, and you're crushing the Niners under win total. Keep that. Listen, last year I started off really cold. And then in the middle of the season, I got scalding hot, and I may take several bets. I may put down several. I only got one on the docket already. I already put one down this week, but I may have several. So anyway. There's several games I may be putting action on. There's several games. I haven't gotten any of them yet, but there's all the ones I've talked about. Like I did Atlanta, Carolina, may prop bet more in the game. I may take Detroit plus the 3.5. I like Tennessee, but I really like the rushing totals on that one a little more. Dan, what do you think of Tyron's social media? His way out of Kansas City by calling the fan base toxic. I didn't see it. And I didn't see it, but I don't know. I don't think too much about it. There's been a lot of with the Chiefs expected to be the best team in the AFC, a lot of talk about 20-0, and now they're 3-4. The defense is terrible. One thing about Tyrann Mathieu is that he was pressuring the Kansas City Chiefs to give him an extension. The Chiefs really just can't afford to pay him, bottom line. They really can't. I mean, he wants Jamal Adams money, and the Chiefs really can't find a way to do that as of right now. As far as calling the Kansas City fan base toxic, I live here in the Kansas City area, and I'll tell you this right now, the fan base is not really a good fan base. It really isn't. The Kansas City fan base is as fair weather as it gets. So if you don't believe me, watch the Royals fan base with the year that they won the World Series and watch them now. Like seriously, it was like forever Royal, and you can't find a Royals fan. I mean, it's ridiculous. Kansas City's a very big fair weather town, and the fan base isn't very good. It's calling the fan base toxic. The fan base is not good, and I'm a part of it. I can vouch. I think he's right. So I didn't see that myself. I follow him on Twitter. I know that, but I don't think much of it, to be perfectly honest. But his contract's up, and I don't see a way that they can sign him. I really don't. I mean, there's just not the money. The money's not there. So. The Bosa brothers work for Hutchinson and Thibodeau. I see the Watt brothers in them. So tomato. I know. Yeah, I know. But I mean, I see the 97. But I mean, am I right though? You've probably seen more of them than I have. But is this a guy who could be a top 5 pick? Me and you both know I am not on drugs. I am over 58% sure I'm not on drugs. I have watched all the shows and a ton of talk about the Lions, which is awesome, but in the same boat of not too good of teams. What do you think the Jets need to get better? Well, this is a great question, Tim. The number one thing is before the season started, they made 2 really key, very smart free agent acquisitions in Vinny Curry and Carl Lawson. Vinny Curry ended up with a very weird, I want to say a blood disorder. It's very similar to that sickle cell issue. It's the same issue that if you go to high altitudes, there was a player or two in the NFL had issues playing in Denver. It's something like that. His career may be over. This happened in preseason, and Carl Lawson apparently was just dominating practices. And I thought Carl Lawson was going to be awesome because he's a perfect fit for that wide 9 defense. And he like tore his ACL. It was like he tore his ACL, and then like 2 days later, Vinny Curry got hurt. So it's really that defensive line, which was key because that defensive line with a healthy Carl Lawson, a healthy Vinny Curry, you have Quentin Williams. That defensive line looked perfect to run that type of defense that they want to run. They also have a linebacker and a secondary that was kind of shaky. So that's the key is that Carl Lawson, because he got injured in preseason, he's going to come back. He's going to play really well. And let's say the Jets get either Hutchinson or they get Thibodeau. That's going to be awesome. Now, I don't know about the Quentin Williams situation, but if Quentin Williams stays, Carl Lawson comes in, plus they get either Thibodeau or Hutchinson, it's that defensive line. That's where it starts. And then you have the development of Zach Wilson. I mean, I thought that this was not a good spot for him because he was going to have to play right away. He's very, very, very raw. So I thought this was a bad spot for him. The running game, they have a good offensive line, but they're young up front. But this is a team that actually could get better. But I wasn't very fond of the coach either. I thought that this is a team that if you draft a young, talented quarterback, I thought that you needed a more experienced offensive mind as head coach. So what'll happen is they're going to get Carl Lawson. This is a perfect draft for the Jets because they're going to get tons of defensive players. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? I'm sorry, man. I forgot they traded their first round pick to the Minnesota Vikings. So, hey, I forgot. I'm sorry, man. But basically what the Jets need to get better is they'll get Carl Lawson back. They'll build up that defensive line, which is predicated on that wide 9. If you have a great defensive line, that wide 9, everything else is just really irrelevant, to be perfectly honest. Young quarterback development. Really, to be honest with you, on the offensive side of the ball, they're fine. It's just building up that defensive line. So, all right. Hey, listen, amazement, man. I am so happy that you're on the show, man. And I'll break down all of these just for you. Jags +4. Right now, my bookie has 3.5. It's in Seattle. And they're fresh off of a bye, which 99% of the time it's a good thing. When you get a team that's fresh off of a bye, you have them playing a team that didn't get a bye with a backup quarterback that's struggling. With Jacksonville, I'm not really sure what you're going to get. I don't know if Jacksonville has turned the curve and is ready to make the next step, or if they're still one of the worst teams in football. Now, the one thing I will say about Seattle is that the defense is not playing bad. I mean, the defense really isn't playing bad at all. They actually played really well against the Saints. The question is, does Seattle pack it in or not? I get why you picked Jacksonville +4. I'm kind of leaning against this game. But I do like the fact that you're getting 4. You're probably thinking that Jacksonville's going to win this game outright. I actually think Seattle makes a bounce back. Of course, remember, I have Seattle, cover 10, and I'm hoping they can get to 10-7. So I get why you picked it. I'm not so sure about this one. Bucks -5. There's a guy I'm going to try. I've been chatting with, and he's got his own YouTube channel. It's the Blitz Predicts. And I'm going to see if I can get him to come on. He wanted to actually come on last Wednesday, 2 days ago. Of course, I had my threesome with the 2 college boys. So I was like, can you come on Friday? Because he does predictions. I like to do my predictions on Friday. We haven't been able to work it out right. But he had a video that came out. And I didn't have time to put it on the description below, but his game of the week that he's betting on is Bucks -5. I actually love that one. I may take it myself. It was 4.5 earlier today. It's gone up to 5. Because I'm stalling on it, it'll probably be at 6. So if you got 5, that's a good number. The next game is also one I like, and I wish I knew where you could get 6 at because I got 4.5. Patriots travel to Los Angeles. A lot of people like the Chargers. So I'm assuming that you got +6. Probably somewhere near Vegas because I'm guessing LA is close. I love the Patriots here. I actually think the Patriots may win this game outright. That's a game I'm probably going to put action on. Lions +3. If you can get the hook, if you already made the bet, I don't blame you. I like the Lions +3. Giants -10, I actually like, believe it or not. Kansas City has not been able to cover a spread. That the Chiefs are like one of the worst teams against the spread. 10's a big number. Kansas City wins this game, sure, but they're probably not going to blow them out. They probably won't blow them out. Which team has the better defense? The Giants have a better defense. Giants have better defense, and 10 points, double digits. No, I like the Giants. I actually might put action on the Giants, to be honest with you. So yeah, no, you're right. That's actually a brilliant pick. Right now, it's dropping. It was at 10. It's now 9.5. So I like all of these. The Jacksonville one, I'm kind of so on, but I think that's just more of me hoping Seattle can get the push at 10-7, which at 2-5, it's almost impossible. The only thing I kind of worry about is how does a rookie coach handle a bye week, even one who's experienced like Urban Meyer. But one thing is I love that fact you're getting for, so I get it. It is. Kansas City is a very fair weather city. Very, very fair weather city. So yeah. You know what? Amazement. You missed the one game that I actually really love a lot, and I'll go to that one next when we get some of these comments. I see people everywhere liking the Lions this week. This was one of my 4 games on paper. Yeah. Even Mike has the Lions not just covering, not just 3.5. Screw the 3. He likes them winning outright. Mike picked it. Halloween. Lions get a win. I like them. Yeah. I will tell you right now, there's a huge difference. I know you don't do sports betting, Funk. There's a big difference between 3 and 3.5. Take 3.5 if you can get it. If it drops down to 3, I'm not touching it. But 3.5, I like the Lions a lot. I'm hearing DJ wants out of the LA Rams as well. Dude's such a clown, leaving a 6-1 team for a 2-5 team so he can put up numbers. He's not a number. Wait a minute. He's already on another team. I did not know that. I was looking at ESPN. I don't see where he signed up anywhere. Let's look at the NFL Network. I got all this stuff saved. I normally wouldn't do this, but I was following this very closely. He's on another team. Well, you guys will have to let me know. You guys let me know because I don't see these gone. I know he's wanting to trade. He's just not happy there. I think Kansas City would be a great place for him. Reunite with Andy Reid. But Aiden's probably the second edge that's going to go off the board, depending on team's view of the Marvin Leal. Hey, look, I don't know. All I know is that this Hutchinson kid reminds me a lot. It's probably because he wears 97, but very, very similar player to Bosa. A lot of stuff's going to depend on the combine. But basically, though, this is a great year. If you need defensive players, this is a great year to get players, especially at the top of the draft. And it wouldn't surprise me if Hutchinson just starts skyrocketing. A big game on prime time against Michigan State. If he has a sack or two, gets mentioned a couple times, he probably will. This will really help his draft stock. It wouldn't surprise me though if he skyrockets in the top 10. Yeah, Ryan Clark had that sickle cell. That's what I forgot. Nice pick, Amazement. How you do last week? Yeah, Hutchinson has flown up draft boards. What's kind of funny is I think I like Karlaftis from Purdue just as much. I haven't had a chance to watch him play, man. But Hutchinson reminds me of one of the Bosa brothers. I missed that one game last week. Oh, man. Okay, you're doing a parlay. All right. Of course I'm pulling for you. I'm never going to go against you. Gambling 101. Parlays are a lot of fun. I do not recommend them at all. For those of you who are new to sports betting, a parlay is when you do Normally it's 3 or more games, but you can do 2. You can do a 2-way teaser. I'm not going to go into that. My bookie offers 2-way teasers. I don't recommend that. Okay, I mentioned I have like 3 or 4 games, so it makes sense. Like, why don't I do like a 3 or 4 game parlay? I don't do parlays. All right. I will help you win bets. I'm pulling for amazement this week. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not pulling for a close game in Kansas City, but I do like the Giants. And we got you. We know you. We know you. We know. We know. Bottom line, though, if you're new to sports betting and you look at a parlay, they're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun. I don't recommend them. So, yeah. I do not recommend them. However, we are all going to pull for amazement. We don't listen. If you're a Giants fan and you're pulling for the Giants to beat the Chiefs, that's no big deal. But we don't pull for people to lose money on this show. That's not cool. That's not cool. Hey, I live in Denver. Altitude sickness is very real. It takes a lot of time to adjust. Some people never get used to it. By the way, my first time in Colorado, I was floored because I was like winded. I drove a truck over the road. We had to unload one of the trucks, and I was in pretty good shape. So I was like, this isn't going to bother me. And I was like, it's a real thing, man. I have no idea how players travel to Denver for a football game. Like, I used to just not think that was that big of a deal. I'm like, they're trained, they're in great shape. No, it's a big thing. Bet the house on the Detroit Lions. Hatter's House 710. Welcome, brother. Yeah. I no, do not bet that. Listen, don't bet the house on teams that aren't good teams. Never do that. But I do like Detroit to cover 3.5. So yeah, yeah, Rams didn't cover. I thought they'd smoked the Lions. Give Lions credit. They threw everything against the Rams. So, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, betting a team to cover a big point spread in the NFL is not good. Not good. So, yeah, we gotcha. Lions have fought hard. They're just horrible in offense, and golf looks broken. Yeah. The number one thing I love about the Detroit Lions is that every week they play hard, and this is credit to Campbell, because I think that he knew going into the season that he was just going to have to do a bunch of goofy stuff just to try to get the offense to score 20 points a game. I think going into this season he was looking for a way to kind of get the offense going. And he has a first-year defensive coordinator in Aaron Glenn that he brought with him from the Saints. So I think I give him a ton of credit, because I think going into this season, he had to know this wasn't going to be a good team. But I love the way this team fights. And I think it pays off. I think it does pay off. I don't think Detroit is, even though I've been telling you guys you have a bad team, you're not the worst team in the NFL. I don't think you're going to end up with the number 1 pick. I really don't. I really don't believe that. And best of luck this week. Come on, Funk. I always pull for you. So, I'm pulling for him. So, watch D-Jax end up in Detroit. That would actually be a good spot for him. But I think I would love to see him doing in Kansas City. I would love to see him in Kansas City. Not football related, but town I live in is playing for a state title in girls softball tomorrow down in Springfield. Sorry, I had to give him a shout out back to football. Hey, that's awesome. Now, Tim, we're going to warn you. I'm assuming state means high school. We don't want you going to jail. We do support girl. Tim's married, by the way. So, but Tim, we won't tell if you have a girlfriend on the side. We will not tell you. I hear you. I have some same complaint about teasers. I hate teasers. Yeah. Okay. There's something that's called a 2-way teaser, and what it is, you get 2 teams, you get 6 points extra for them, but the payout's not as good. So do not do 2-way. They're very tempting. Oh my God, Luke G's in the house. Hell yeah, Luke. What's up, brother? AG, yes, I think he is too. I love the fact, I can't pronounce his name to save the life of me. Your 4th round pick, your first 4th round pick. The corner is playing lights out. I've been you can tell me more than I would know just by watching, but I keep hearing from people that you're switching to more of a 4-man front. You're kind of going away from that 3-4, using a 4-3, which Aaron Glenn was part of with the Saints, and it's a very successful, very good defense. And I kind of thought that's what you would do instead of that 3-4 defense. And if that's what you're doing, that would make a lot of sense, because I really think your team's better suited for that 4-3. I was really shocked to hear that you guys were going to do a 3-4 at the beginning of the year, but if you're switching to a 4-3, I think that's a really smart move. And that's what I'm hearing. And as a rookie defensive coordinator, you've seen progression. I mean, week 1 of the season, they gave up 41 points in the first 3 quarters. And now you held the Rams, what was it, 22, 24 points? That's really good. I'm on board, man. I am on board. I think the Lions win this week. If I do bet on the Lions, I am going to take the points. I'm going to take 3.5. I'm not going to take 3. I'm going to take 3.5. So if it stays above 3.5, I'll probably take the Lions. So the defense is actually playing decent. Thanks for the moved to Denver from Florida, moving furniture, couldn't breathe. I said to a local, I thought the altitude was a myth in sport. Can't breathe, he replies. How's that myth? Oh man, Luke G. I'm always giddy when I get Luke G. It's still a 3-4, but more modified. And that's smart. By the way, this is smart coaching. It's smart coaching. It's coaching 101 is that you make adjustments, right? You want to run a man defense, but you don't have the personnel to run man defense. Well, you switch to more zone. And it sounds very, very, very simple. It sounds very basic. It sounds very 101. Kansas City couldn't do it. That's why Bob Sutton got fired, right? Kansas City right now is trying to run a 4-3 Spags defense, playing man defense, and we don't have the personnel to do it. Are we putting our players in positions to succeed? No, we're trying to put a square peg through a round hole. That's why we're 3-4. So the Detroit Lions doing that's really smart, and I think you guys get a win. I think it's going to pay off. I got the Lions winning, and that's probably a game. I haven't put action on it. There's only one game I got action on. This is another one I am very tempted to. I'm kind of playing around because, matter of fact, I'll bring it up right now. The Washington football team travels to Denver. Denver is currently a 3-point favorite. However, the line is the Washington football team +3. You can get the 3 points at +105, or you can take Denver -3 at -125, which means action's heavy on Denver. I really want 2.5. I haven't put the action down yet, but if it stays at 3, if it can drop the 2.5, I'm definitely going to take 2.5. I know it sounds finicky. I love Denver in this one. They get Jerry Jeudy back. I think the team is just much better than the Washington football team. I love Denver this week. A matter of fact, amazement, I'm really surprised you don't have Denver on here. They've lost a couple games in a row, but this is just a much better football team. The altitude is real. Is there any game on the schedule Lions win this one besides the Eagles? I hope so. I don't want to see any team go winless. The Lions have been famous for playing tough for division games. I don't have a lot of faith in Chicago, so there's definitely a possibility. Without bringing up their schedule and going over every single game, I think they're still going to win a handful of games. I think anything over 4 might be unrealistic, but both games against Chicago are definitely winnable, depending on if Chicago can get their team on track. So I'll just throw out both games against Chicago, and then I think Minnesota is going to take a step up, right? But I mean, it took I got the games mixed up. You know what? All right, I apologize. I'm 58% sure I'm not on drugs, but let's bring up the Lions schedule. I thought they played 19. That's right. Yeah, 19-17 against Minnesota. And it was at Minnesota. They really should have won. So let's look at these. Pittsburgh's having problems. Hopefully they can get turned around. For those of you that don't know, I have Pittsburgh over 8.5. Cleveland has a ton of injuries, man. Cleveland has a lot of injuries. That's definitely a possibility. Here's your stretch, though. Back-to-back home games against Chicago and Minnesota. At Denver, I think Denver's going to get things turned around. That's a tough one. Arizona at home. Arizona's playing really good, but you never know. At Atlanta and at Seattle. Honestly, either one of those. So there's several possibilities for wins here. Right after the bye at Pittsburgh may be kind of an underrated spot. So what'd you think of the final play with the Cards on the 4th down? AJ Green play so weird. When Corey is not happy, I'm going to have him talk about it Wednesday. But bottom line, look, the offense that Arizona runs is a little weird. You have AJ Green, who was brought in. I don't think too much of it. I really do. I think it was just simple miscommunication. I don't think anything bad of it. Corey's going to come in Wednesday, and he's going to feel completely different. Since you're a Chiefs fan, will Jared Allen make the Hall of Fame? I know he's been a finalist. I actually love Jared Allen. He's one of my all-time favorite players. One of my all-time favorite players. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I really don't. He's a character. He's a lot of fun. He was so great here in Kansas City, and he should have stayed in Kansas City. What happened is he had DUI here in Kansas City. And so he was a 4th-round pick. We brought him in because he could long snap. We brought him in because he was a long snapper, and he just kept on outperforming everybody else in practice. We really actually brought him on just to be depth. We had no idea he was starting. He went to it was either Idaho State or Montana State. He played at a small school, but we brought him on because he could long snap, and we thought he had potential, but he ended up just kicking ass, played really, really good. Anyway, he had a DUI, so the Chiefs didn't want to sign him long-term. We ended up trading him to Minnesota, got some draft picks, which we did at the time nothing with. And Jared Allen held a grudge. He held a grudge against Kansas City, and he played really, really well. I mean, if you want to go by the book, I think he has something like 130 sacks. I mean, you can make a strong case he belongs in Hall of Fame. Jared Allen to me just isn't a Hall of Fame player, man. And I know it sounds bad, but I mean, as much as I love the guy, he's like one of the top 5, Chiefs players I'd love to like have a beer with. Pardon the pun. I mentioned the DUI, but you get what I'm saying. I don't think he's a Hall of Fame player. I just don't. That's just my opinion. All right. I'm going to kind of recap games I'm leaning towards putting bets on that I haven't yet. Detroit in 3.5, I really like. I'm still on the fence about Tennessee, but prop bets for both running backs on over. You know what? 2 games I completely forgot to mention here. Let's go over them real fast. The Houston Texans, 16-point dog at home to the Rams. I know it's kind of comical, but I actually like Houston to cover this one. Of course, I think the Rams win, but I know Houston's been almost abysmal. I know they just traded Ingram. I know everything looks horrible. 16 is a very big number, and the defense isn't playing bad. So I think Houston could cover. I'm not touching this one. I may touch this one. Cincinnati Bengals travel to New York Jets. The Jets are 11-point dog. I know they're playing. I think it's Mike White. I don't even know where he's from. This line may even jump up higher. I like the Jets to cover in this one. Again, don't bet on bad teams. So 11 points. The Jets are playing decent defense. So I actually do like the Jets on this one. I'm so close to taking action on this one. Thoughts on the Indy Titans game? I actually like Tennessee in this one. I think Tennessee's got the better team. I know the Colts are at home. This is a game I think I might just take the rushing totals for both running backs to go over. For those of you who don't know, I have a major man crush on Jonathan Taylor. Absolutely love him. Derrick Henry's playing like a man possessed. Tennessee, I don't know if they can get up for another game against a big opponent, but divisional games are usually better. I like Tennessee in this one, and it looks like the line may jump from 2.5 to 3. Bottom line, if you can get points and you can get the better team, why not take Tennessee? I like Tennessee in this one. I'm thinking about taking the over on both running backs. I kind of want to see the number. And if Tennessee gets the 3, I might take Tennessee in 3. So I like that. Another game that is going up, and I love it. And I probably should take it now because it's jumped up from 3.5 to 4. This is one I really, really like. Fresh off a bye, the Pittsburgh Steelers are a 4-point dog at Cleveland. I love Pittsburgh in this game. Baker Mayfield may or may not play. The line's been going up. People are really liking the Browns. Pittsburgh's fresh off a bye. Remember last year they didn't have the chance to go on the bye due to the weird COVID situation. Remember Tennessee had a weird game. So I've been waiting for 4. It's finally at 4. So I do love Pittsburgh. I love Pittsburgh in this one. For those of you that don't know, I have Pittsburgh over 8.5 wins. A lot of talk about Tomlin taking the USC job. He is not interested at all. He was pretty pissed. I really look, Cleveland's not healthy. Cleveland's not healthy. Bet on them if you like, but I love Pittsburgh in 4 points. I actually think they win outright. That's why I might actually. Am I going to do it? I'm doing it right now. I am doing it as we talk. I'm putting a $25 bet on the Pittsburgh Steelers and the 4 points. I'm doing it now. Just did it. God, I need a cigarette or a line of cloak. Well, I mean, I don't do drugs, but if I did, I would want to do something. Another game I'm very close to putting action on, but I'm not. I'm going to pass on this one, but I do like the Bears. San Francisco travels to Chicago. San Francisco is a 4-point favorite. The Bears, I actually like this one. I think the Bears have the better defense. San Francisco's offense is kind of helter-skelter. But Chicago is playing a team that's on self-destruct mode. That's why I'm going to pass on taking this one. I do like the Bears in this game. Over-under is 40. I could see it also being a low-scoring game. I wouldn't touch anything around 40 for the under. That's just me personally. But I do like the Bears. I may go ahead and put action on the Bears. But, I just put action on the Steelers. So why not? Another game that I probably should take now is I was going to say I should take Denver. Yeah, Denver's still at 3. Okay. Never say never, but never Tomlin. I think the Pats beat the Chargers too. Chargers are terrible against the run, which is Pat's strength, and Belichick can still confer. I know exactly, and I haven't made that bet yet, but it's 4.5, and I absolutely love New England to cover 4.5, and I 100% agree with you, Amazement. I'm very close to going ahead and taking New England. I like them to win outright. Right now, it's still. Am I going to do it? You know what? Let's do it right now. Let's do it right now. I'm going to do it again. One more. I'm doing New England live on the show. I am taking New England. I'm going to do another bet. I'm taking New England live on the show. I can share my screen, but hopefully you guys trust me. Hopefully you guys believe me. So today, for the first time ever, I took Pittsburgh and I took New England. I'm holding off on Denver right now. Should I do it right now? Should I just take Denver? No, I'm going to hold off. I was going to take Minnesota, but I wasn't sure if Dak was playing or not. I'm going to get to that in a minute. What was the next game on the docket here? Okay, we talked about Jacksonville and Seattle. All right, let's talk about now. I already had action on this one. However, I took Minnesota plus 1.5. I got Minnesota early. By the way, if you are interested, if you shoot me an email, I get the notifications that come on my phone. If you follow me on social media, you can hit me up on social media. If you want to know what I'm betting on when I bet on it, this is the first show I've ever made bets live, but you got them today. I got Minnesota plus 1.5. Minnesota is now -3. There was a 4.5 point swing. Minnesota is now a 3-point favorite. They were a 1.5 point dog. I got them at 1.5. The over-under is 52. Because Dak is a question mark, I love Minnesota in this game. I put money on Minnesota. I don't recommend 3. Do you want to take Minnesota in 3? Sure, I do. I mean, 3 is not a bad number. Don't get me wrong. If you had 2.5, I would say 2.5. I would say 2.5. I don't get it. I don't care. I'm excited, man. I'm just beyond excited. I had a great Thursday. I got action on. What did I do? Did I do an afternoon game and a morning game? Okay, yeah, I got an afternoon Patriots. I have Pittsburgh. Is Pittsburgh in the morning? I got Pittsburgh in the morning, Patriots in the afternoon, and then Sunday night, I got Minnesota. It doesn't get any better than that. Doesn't get any better than that, man. I'm also off tomorrow. I get to watch Michigan State. I finally get to see this Waller kid. God, man, this is a great time to be Dan. The NFL is just, this is one of the best seasons to be a football fan. And I know it sucks for you guys that my Chiefs are 3-4. I know you guys are crushed, but it happens. Final game. I know we talked about a little bit, but let's talk about Monday Night Football. Kansas City 9.5. It was at 10. Amazement's right. So 9.5. You know what? One pride. I am 51 minutes into the show, and I think for the first time, you know what? This is the longest I've gone without a name mess up. I said Waller, and I mean Walker. And you know what? I haven't watched the guy. I know nothing about the guy. I've not watched. I don't know if he's a power back. I don't know if he's a speed back. All I know is that he was, at one point in time, he was averaging like 220 a game. At one point in time, he was leading the NCAA in rushing. Not seen him play one down. I haven't seen a highlight reel of him. I have no idea anything about the kid. And I'm so excited because after I finish the show, I'm going to go to the DVR. I'm going to put it on the DVR because I'm going to, you know what? I might sleep in, go to the gym. I might even treat myself and go out. But anyway, 51 minutes into the show, I get my first name right now. It must suck to be a KC fan right now. Yes, it does. It does. But here's the good thing is that we're 2 games out from first place, and we played Raiders twice, and we've had their numbers. So, oh, really? Well, here's the thing. If he has a big game, win or lose, he becomes the Heisman favorite. So, Wager Talks hates us, Dan. LOL. Every time we're a favorite, they pick against us, but I get it because it's all about numbers to bettors. I love Wager Talk. Yeah, they had a great show called Prop It Up, but they started talking about other things from NBA, NHL. I didn't like that. So, but yeah, Music City Guy, and what's up, Dan and company? Music City Guy. I'll be honest. I'm a little surprised that the Titans people are putting heavy action on the Colts. If I'm going to bet this game, I actually like Tennessee. I'm going to see if I can get 3, but I really like the Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor props. I think both those running backs have big games. So it's an old school matchup, man. But I do like your Titans, actually. I'm a little surprised people are so heavy on the Colts, and there's lots of action on the Colts. KC doesn't have a run game. CEH is injured. I agree with you, Luke, that Swift would look much better in a Chiefs uniform. But unfortunately, we took CEH, who's banged up. Who's banged up. Once he comes back healthy, the Chiefs will continue to run the ball. The running game will get better. It's struggling right now. You're in for a show. I'm looking forward to it, man. I cannot tell you how excited I am. I get to see a player that I'm very excited to see, and then I get to see a player who could be a top 5 pick in the draft in Hutchinson. He could be top 5. So I know. I got some balls. I love it, man. Kansas City has no defense. It seriously, it's really bad. It's really bad. Will Casey struggles hurt Bieniemy as a head coaching candidate? Probably not. No, it won't. No, it won't. The NFL's been adamant that they really don't like that. I let me see here. Tomlin and Flores. Is that right? Just off the top of my head. There's Scott. I think there's one more. Robert Saleh. All right. So you have an industry, you have a company in the NFL that is 85% African Americans, but they're out of 32 head coaches, there's 3. Yeah, go figure. So yeah, Eric Bieniemy is going to be a head coach. Trust me. It doesn't matter with KC struggles, and most of their struggles are defensively. The offense is still doing good. Mahomes, before last week, Mahomes was leading the NFL in touchdown passes and touchdown yards. There's a very, very good chance Mahomes gets over 5,000 yards this year. It really is. So, I mean, yeah. And Luke, I disagree. I see the defense as a 4-3. You don't see people's hands in the dirt. I think that what Luke was saying is that they still want to run the 3-4 defense, but they're using their personnel to the best of their abilities. So you're seeing more 4-3 looks, kind of multifaceted defense. I still stand behind it. I think they should have ran the 4-3 Dennis Allen defense. I'm going to call it Dennis Allen defense. Because it was really successful in New Orleans. So I'm glad the Titans are underdogs. They're not good front runners. That's why I kind of like Tennessee to cover. I'm going to wait and see if I can get the 3. I might put action on them. But I already I did 2 bets live for the first time ever, so I'm really excited about that. You don't see 4, not this year. It's all defense. Yep. If you're talking draft wise, yeah. So Casey's defense is as bad as the Lions was last year. The defense is terrible. The thing is that it really sucks is that we got 2 of the best defensive linemen in the National Football League. We have a defense that they should thrive in, and neither one of them been able to stay healthy. And then Chris Jones, not only is he banged up, he just didn't want to play. And Frank Clark put out some stuff on social media like, I'm just focusing on my life. Remember, he had that gun charge in the offseason, but he's not been playing, definitely not playing like $100 million man. Tyrann Mathieu has been banged up, hasn't really been the same guy, and he's looked noticeably frustrated on the field. The one positive that it's funny because I'm calling it a positive, it's actually a negative, is that our starting middle linebacker's been banged up. So we have Willie Gay, a second-year player, missed the first 3 weeks of the season, then left the facility for mental health reasons, and then posted a bunch of weird stuff on social media. I was going to tweet, like, take this stuff down. It was really bad. Like, you, as a professional athlete, you shouldn't be posting what he posted. I'm not going to quote it, but it was stuff professional athletes shouldn't post. Like, it seemed like he was having some really, really problems mentally. Nothing against that, but you just don't want – anyway, I'm going to stop ranting about that. Athletically, Willie Gay is like what if God said, if you were to say, God, build me what a linebacker should look like, it would be Willie Gay. He's over 240. At the combine ran like a 4.46. He had like a 40 vertical. He had an interception. He made some good plays, but he's just raw as raw can be. We also got, I keep wanting to call him Michael Bolton, but it's Nick Bolton, rookie out of MU. And Andy Reid's been flexible. He's been playing more and more rookies. In the past, he's hated playing rookies. Second round pick out of Missouri. He's really played well as a rookie, but you could tell he's just not, it hasn't clicked in. So with Hitchens being out, Bolton, a rookie middle linebacker, for those of you who don't know, the middle linebacker calls the plays in almost all defenses. So he's had to learn playing outside and inside linebacker, plus doing all the play calling, which is really a lot for a rookie. And he's not done a bad job. Here's the thing is that he'll get better as the year progresses. Willie Gay will get better as the year progresses, ideally. And now you add speed and athleticism to that linebacking core, which was god awful last year. So this will really help the defense. So the defense can get turned around, but it needs an attitude adjustment, and it needs these rookies to develop. So this is a year that normally it's good to have a bye at the end of the year. Kansas City has a bye late, which is good. But this would be a great time if the Chiefs got a bye and got some of these players, some extra practice. But Andy Reid's been famous for when teams have a bye, just give everybody a break. And by the way, Andy Reid after a bye is one of the best records, and that's a solid bet. Yes, CEH was the first back taken. It was pick number 32. I wanted DeAndre Swift. I think it should have been DeAndre Swift, but they wanted CEH because he was an excellent receiver. And even though he's short, he's compact, he's built. It's actually funny. His metrics were exactly the same as offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy coming out of Colorado. And here's the thing, because he's short, they say he's small. He's not small. He's like 5'7", but he's 210. He's powerful. And the Chiefs wanted a running back who could handle the 4-minute offense. And they felt that he was a better fit than DeAndre Swift. I wanted DeAndre Swift because DeAndre Swift would add a speed dimension to the team at running back, which they really didn't have before. So, he was first back. He was number 32. Not only that, we have 3 really good receivers. Oh, Michigan State, yeah. You got them. You got them all from the Southeast, and that was a credit to your coach being able to pick SEC talent away from the SEC. Really good move. What I think needs to happen is to have more black coaches, is to try to get players interested in coaching by having some side of incentive programs help guys that are interested. Well, here's the thing, is that the majority of position coaches are black. That's what makes the head coaching thing so outrageous, is that there's a lot of former players that go into being position coaches. A lot of them, but a lot of them aren't getting head coach positions. Matter of fact, I think a former offensive lineman, I don't know if he's offensive coordinator or not, Eugene Chung, a former player, apparently an NFL executive told him he was the wrong kind of minority, and he tried to sue the NFL, but apparently nobody could substantiate that. I think that really there's plenty of black assistants, plenty of black coordinators, or I'm sorry, it's position coaches. That's what I was looking for. There's plenty of position coaches. There's just not a ton of coordinators and head coaches. So if Harbaugh loses to us and OSU, do you think he gets fired? No, I don't. And I'll tell you why. Early on, it looks like he's bringing in another top 10 class. The recruiting class is awesome. They're ranked number 6 in the country. He's going to have a lot of players go to the NFL. The big house is being sold out. And let's say they lose to Ohio State and Michigan State, they're still going to be a top 20 team. And here's another question. Here's another question. Who do you get that's better? You can say Harbaugh's done a bad job, but tons of players drafted, lots of wins. There's not much really. Yes, he hasn't beat Ohio State. I understand it's a big deal. Here's the thing: when you can replace Harbaugh and get somebody better, sure. But is Nick Saban leaving? What's his name out of Oklahoma? Lincoln Riley, is he leaving? Who would be better? Who is better than Harbaugh for Michigan? So here's what you would need. You would need a Michigan alum who's a big name. There really isn't one. There really isn't one. So absolutely not. No. By the way, I think Michigan beats Ohio State this year. But I'm going to watch both teams. I want to see. For what I've seen, Ohio State looks faster. They look more athletic, but they look younger. So, but I really think that this is the year Michigan beats Ohio State. I really believe that. Since the league is predominantly black, maybe it's players past and present, may be interested in coaching, but needs to be more diverse owners as well. That's also true. That's also true. They've made a lot of incentives. That's why I think that guys like Eric Bieniemy will get a shot. And I think this is really a good time for Eric Bieniemy. I think Denver could be a position that might be open. Miami may be open. We'll talk about that. I do a special video called Black Monday. You know, when everybody's fired, I go over all the coaching decisions. Usually there's at least four, minimum of four. I could see several. So, yeah. We don't like UM's fan base. I don't know enough about them to be perfectly honest. I had a buddy of mine a long time ago. He was a Lions fan and he was a Michigan Wolverines fan, and he's a good guy. Good guy. I get that. I 100% get that. I understand that. I know. Flip the switch. You're a Michigan fan, all right? Let's say you're mad at him. Who's going to replace him? Who's going to replace him? Who do you get that's better? And there really isn't anybody. There isn't anybody. You're asking if he's going to get fired. You're undefeated, sixth ranked in the country. So yeah, no, I don't think so. All right, you got a true freshman quarterback, true freshman running back, a lot of talent. All streaks come to an end. All streaks come to an end. I think it's this year. But I watched a little bit of Michigan. I've watched a few plays of Ohio State. I think this is the year Ohio State kind of, they lost to Oregon. I think they lose to Michigan. And then there's going to be a lot of fun. It's good. College football is going to be fun, but I'm going to watch Ohio State play Penn State. And I mean, we'll see. We'll see. The problem with Harbaugh to a lot of fans is he's supposed to be the quarterback whisperer, and look what he's gotten out of his quarterbacks. Well, that's the thing, is that I get that. I really do get that. But, I mean, look at the other positions. He's put a bunch of players in the NFL. You can say that, but, I mean, it's a little different. You have to realize, though, God, what was his name? The 5-star player from Ole Miss to transfer. I understood, but has he been able to get the talent? I mean, when he was at Stanford, I think he was at Stanford when they had Andrew Luck. Is that correct? Do I have my timeline correct? Andrew Luck came from Texas. I don't know how exactly that worked, but I mean, you got a Texas kid to go to Stanford. I remember the University of Texas, like originally they were going to go after him and they had somebody else at Texas. I don't think it was Vince Young at the time, but I'd have to do some more research. No, it wasn't Vince Young. They had somebody else at Texas that was they were interested in, so they passed on Andrew Luck. But I mean, is there somebody at Michigan who's a great quarterback? I mean, no offense, but like, how do you mess up Andrew Luck? You know what I'm saying? I mean, are they getting the right caliber of player? The guy who was there last year, the big tight end, future NFL tight end, I forget which school he went to. But anyway, I mean, he was really struggling. Even though he had a lot of talent, he looked like he was struggling. I don't know if I blame that on Harbaugh, if I blame the kid. Oh, God, sorry, my nose itches. I am over 64% sure it's not cocaine. But, I mean, you make it sound like he's done a horrible job. He's put players in the NFL. The big house is selling out. They're a top 10 team. Yeah, I get it. I get it, though. I get it. He's got absolutely nothing out of position. I understand. I watched them play against Northwestern. They got two decent running backs. They have like a freshman quarterback they put in on the Wildcat, and then they have a starting quarterback. I'm not fond of that, but what to say. That Penn State Illinois OT was funny to watch, but such a joke. It's not even football anymore when they go to OT. It's like the NBA. Okay, for those of you that don't know, they've changed the format in college football overtime that after you play 2 overtimes, you just go for 2 points. And it's terrible. It is terrible. I'm kind of torn. Sometimes I like college football overtime, and sometimes I just hate it. It wouldn't surprise me if they change it this year because that 2-point conversion thing is just stupid. Personally, let's say you're going to stick to the format. I'd like to see them go further back. I think they should go back at least to the 35. It should be 35. It should be that if you get a first down, it should be a difficult field goal rather than a chip shot. If you're going to stick to that format, go 35. It wouldn't surprise me, though, if eventually they just scrap the format and go to the NFL format. And honestly, I think that's what they should. Okay. Shaw coached Luck, but Luck, I think, was recruited by Harbaugh. I think Harbaugh got him there. And then, and I may have this all wrong, but I think Harbaugh got him there. Year 1 was Harbaugh, and then Shaw took over. I may be wrong on that. They're starting to pick up where they look like they do, but the quarterback's a true freshman. I think he's only 17. I know the running back's 17, but they're really, really young. Both of them are going to be high picks, though. I hope I'm not too late in this. You talk about the best spread this week, the Bucks 4.5. We talked about that. The Blitz predicts. I also mentioned you. Your video was 4.5. Right now it's 5. I don't have action on that one. If you go back and watch, I put 2 bets live. I got 3 total. The 2 bets I did live on the show is I took New England plus 4.5, and I took Pittsburgh plus 4. I got Minnesota plus 1.5. Of course, the line's now -3. Tampa Bay, we actually did. I think I skipped that one, but I do like this one. I haven't put action on it yet. Right now it's 5. Tampa Bay is a 5-point favorite going to New Orleans. The Blitz predicts, who I'm trying to get onto the show. We'll have to tune it. We'll have to work on it to see if we can get you on a Friday when I do all my predictions. He has a special video on this game where he has Tampa Bay covering, and this is the game he bets on. So I do like it as well. I really like it. The only reason I haven't put action on it yet is because the Saints are at home, and the Saints, believe it or not, might have a better defense. I might put action on this one as well, but I got a game early afternoon and Sunday night, and I might, believe it or not, even though I'm a Chiefs fan, I might put action on the Giants. So, but I do like this one a lot. We completely agree. I'm going to skip through the comment. How does Dak injury affect the Cowboys-Vikings line? It went from 1.5 to – it went from the Cowboys being a 1.5-point favorite. It was 2. Now they're a 3-point dog. So 5 full points. 5 points. Yeah, the Blitz predicts is knows his shit. I have to give him credit because he had earlier in the year, I know he had Buffalo over Kansas City. I went against him, obviously. Last week, he had action on the Bengals, liked them to win outright. He wasn't sure because it was in Buffalo. This week, Tampa Bay in 5. I don't have action on that one yet. So, but yeah, he knows his shit, man. And plus, you have I don't know too much about them, man. I don't know too much about their corners. I watched them play a little bit. I just know that Hutchinson is reminds me a lot of Bosa, could be a top 5 pick. Hopefully we beat the Eagles. We have undrafted free agents that are absolutely balling, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing, man. College OT is like a shootout in the NHL. I think the NFL got OT right. I like the NFL OT. I even like the old way where you kick a field goal and you win, just sudden death. But I like the fact that they changed it. And it's like, hey, if you kick a field goal, the other team gets a chance. I like that they adapted it. I don't like the college. I actually watched that on DVR, and I was kind of mad because the very last overtime, the DVR didn't cover it. So I had to look it up, and I'm like, this is stupid. But yeah, I think the college football will change again. I think they're going to scrap it, and I think me personally, let's say I can go two ways. One, I would scrap it and go to the NFL. But if you don't want to go like the NFL, move it back to the 35. What's wrong with that? I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. So if they go back to the 35, it should be the Dan rule. It's all me. They're going to win unless Michigan puts in McCarthy. McCarthy, is that the freshman quarterback that they put in on Wildcat situations who can run? And he looks like he weighs 140 pounds. Is that the kid? So I'm looking forward to it because I haven't watched Michigan State play all year. But yeah. Yeah, very smart. Plus you have we need to get together and collab really soon. So what do you think the problem with Clemson is? Because DJ looks bad. Just personal opinion, without knowing the kid, I think maybe the hype got to be too much for him. He was a 5-star player. And for those of you that don't know, the way it's ranked, the way that the ratings are ranked is that if you're a 5-star player, you're a future NFL player. Usually there's only anywhere from like 20 to 40 players each high school recruiting class. I mean, this is literally think about how many kids are playing in high school football every year. All right. I mean, there's literally hundreds of thousands, maybe even a million. So like between 20 and 40 or 5-star players. And DJ Smith, I can't pronounce the name. I'm not even going to try. Was a 5-star player, a future NFL player. He came in as a freshman against Notre Dame in a loss, a game they probably should have won. Played lights out. Everybody started talking about him being the number 1 player in the draft. I think the hype got too much. They lost a lot of talent in the draft over the last couple of years, but because they kept on replenishing, and the recruiting classes have been good, they kept on thinking it was just like Alabama, where they're not really, they're not, what's the word? Instead of reloading, but they just really didn't have the bullets. And he's not Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence was kind of a generational type college player. He really was. I mean, he really was. He was special, and people were like, "Oh, he grows on trees." No, he doesn't. I still think that he's got unique, special talent. I think that they turn it around. I do. Maybe not this year, but next year wouldn't surprise me if they're a top 10 team again. Excuse me. But you have to understand something is that I still think he's a special player. All right. Clemson's quarterback struggling behind a subpar offensive line and wide receivers keep alternating. I'm going to assume you're right because I haven't had a chance to watch him play. I'm just kind of guessing, to be perfectly honest. But I still think he could end up being the number 1 player in the draft in 2023. But that Oklahoma quarterback is going to win the Heisman next year and probably be the number 1 player in the draft. Phenomenal player. I'm thinking we win by 10, like a 27-17 type game. Saints 8 beating us by dinking and dunking all the game. The one thing that scares me about, let me go play devil's advocate. They beat you twice last year by double digits. I know it's going to sound a little crazy, but the Saints may have better defense. You obviously have a better quarterback. Unless you're Jameis Winston's mom, you think, Jameis Winston's the number 2 quarterback in this game. But the thing is, though, is the Saints have been able to beat Tampa Bay. I actually believe it or not. I can't believe I just forgot his name. Sean Payton. Believe it or not, Sean Payton's, I think he's a better coach. And I'm not taking anything away from Tampa Bay's head coach, whose name escapes me. So anyway, coaching, I think, goes to the Saints. Defense may go to the Saints. But yeah, I 100% could see this. That's why I may be putting action on Tampa Bay myself. I may be putting action. I'm just giving you the flip side. You may be going against a team who's got a better defense. That's the only thing that scares me. So. They aren't beating Ohio State unless they're putting in McCarthy. I did not. I mean, is he? You tell me. You know more than I do. Is he really that much better? Because if he is, I'd imagine he'd be starting. So, well, he's getting benched, and I think the honor goes to Young. Oh, okay, maybe. DJ Smith has a lot of pressure coming from behind Deshaun Watson. Trevor Lawrence needs an off season to get together and find himself. I think so too. I still think he's a first round player. Definitely a first round player. Future Lions quarterback Bryce Young, Bucks coach Bruce Arians. Yes, I can't believe for that. I still think Sean Payton's a better coach. I'll be perfectly honest. And I think both these guys are Hall of Fame coaches, by the way. So if anybody who says that I'm disrespecting Bruce Arians, somebody who's got a wrench, block them. I'm not. So, have you seen anything on the Peyton Manning nephew Archer and where Arch? I said Arch, but Archer, but yeah, where he may go. They're all saying, okay, yes. And by the way, there was something early that he committed to Ole Miss. There was something saying that he actually committed to Ole Miss, and that's where I thought he was going. Now they're saying it's up in the air. But I think he's going Ole Miss. I mean, as of right now, he's the number one prospect. I think he's a junior this year, and they're talking about he may skip his senior year of high school, go straight to college. I don't know. But I think it's pretty much lined up that he's going to go to Ole Miss. And what will happen is if the Ole Miss quarterback thinks Mark Carroll, I believe that's true. He's a junior. If he leaves, then Arch will just come right in and be the starting quarterback. And by the way, any school he goes to, he's going to start day one. They'll make a big deal. Well, he's got to earn it. That's bullshit. I know it, and you know it, and he knows it too. When he steps on a college campus, he'll be a starting quarterback, and I'm pretty sure it'll be Ole Miss. But if it's not, it'll be interesting. But I think Ole Miss is where he's going to be, and I think it could be as soon as 2022. I think he's a junior, and I think he's able to bypass his senior year of high school, which normally I wouldn't recommend. But I mean, it's a little different. He's in a different situation than most people, so it's fair. And he'll compete for a Heisman. And by the way, if Lane Kiffin stays at Ole Miss during Arch Manning's time there, he'll bring talent. The one thing, let's say you don't like Lane Kiffin. Let's just say you don't like the guy. You have to give him credit. The guy can recruit like a motherfucker. I don't know what he does. I would love to hear him pitch something, but I mean, the guy can bring in players, man. I don't think he's at Ole Miss forever, but while he's there, he can recruit. So if he brings Arch Manning, he's going to bring NFL talent at wide receiver. And by the way, A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf are pretty good NFL receivers that are from Ole Miss. So you'll be able to, those guys will be on the sidelines helping recruit players. So if Arch Manning and Lane Kiffin team up together in Ole Miss, which I think will happen, is that you'll see Ole Miss be a very fun team to watch. Very fun team to watch. And I mean, even though Nick Saban wants to stay there, I mean, let's face it, I think the guy's almost 70. I mean, he's not going to coach there forever. It's just a matter of time for that Alabama dominance comes to an end. So it may come the end this year, may see Georgia, which I think is heads and shoulders above everybody else. That Georgia team's ridiculous. I'll take your word for it, but I mean, if he's way better, why isn't he starting? Lane Kiffin, Lane Kiffin will bring in talent to surround him. The Ole Miss is going to be a lot of fun to watch. That's why I kept my score prediction under 30. I'm banking on us getting a turnover off Winston and getting a Lane Kiffin can win, but he's never had a defense whenever he's landed. He's an offensive genius, though. If he had a D, then he can most. I don't know about that. I think he just hasn't been able to put everything together, to be perfectly honest. I remember when he first got to Tennessee before he let me see if I remember his not using Google. If I can remember everything correctly, he was actually the quarterbacks coach at USC before he became head coach of the Raiders. He got fired from the Raiders. Then he went to Tennessee. He actually was building up a good defense there in Tennessee. But he left Tennessee. I believe he left Tennessee for USC. Is that correct? I think he left, and then something weird happened at USC. Had to go like in exile for a little bit. Then he was the head coach at FAU, Florida Atlantic University. Then went to Alabama as the offensive coordinator, and now he's at Ole Miss. And apparently I heard this multiple sources that he caused some problems at Alabama with a relationship with the booster's wife. So I've heard that from multiple sources. So even though he's married to 4 kids, but I mean, anyway, that this isn't a marriage channel. So. But I did give some advice to my boy Tim, which is great advice, and that make sure your side piece is over 18. And that's also great advice to give for my boy Alex, who is living at Appalachian State in the dorms. He is a 35-year-old college freshman hooking up with 18-year-olds. So when you're at home tonight, say a prayer for Alex for banging girls half his age. We know how difficult and fun that is. So he was Pete Carroll. He coached with Pete Carroll. And Pete Carroll really liked him. Pete Carroll's really high on him. One thing Pete Carroll did when he was at USC is he tried to treat every position coach and every coordinator like he was a head coach in training. But he was Pete Carroll's quarterback coach. He actually went from quarterback coach to head coach. He was not the offensive coordinator. He was actually the quarterback coach. That's why a lot of people thought that Al Davis lost his mind. But Lane Kiffin, really bright guy, had some good ideas. It just didn't work out. I believe he was with Norm Chow. I believe he was with Norm Chow for a little bit. Yeah. And then Norm Chow, if I remember right, Norm Chow left and took over at Tennessee with former USC player, drawing a complete blank, Jeff Fisher. Jeff Fisher played at USC. And then he took over, and they wanted to draft Leinart, but the owner demanded that they take Vince Young. So no, I didn't know Miles Sanders was out. I heard he was questionable. I didn't know he was out. So Kiffin turned, yeah. He did turn the Vols around. They weren't ready to compete against Bama or Florida or anybody like that. I remember one year they played Florida really tight, 23-13, and people were like, "Man, he's going to turn it around." Then he left immediately to go to USC. Which here's the deal. At the time when he took over, it was almost a sideways gig, but because he was at USC, I think he felt more comfortable recruiting at USC than he did at Tennessee. And USC is one of those places that it's almost better to be at USC than an SEC school. USC is kind of a rare thing because you can always get a top 50 recruiting class just by being half asleep because it's USC. So. Yeah, and you're in California, always check your neck too. Yeah. All right. Man, I'm really excited to enjoy my 3 days off. I have not had Saturday off in a long time, and I got a bevy of college football games. Listen, before I sign out, a few things. Number one, please give me a thumbs up. Please give me a thumbs up. For the algorithm, drop a comment below. And also, so you know, I shut my phone off Sunday If you send me a message on my email, it shows up on my phone. I'll get the notification Saturday. If you need some assistance, anything from fantasy football, sports betting, prediction, anything at all, shoot me an email. I will respond. If you email me on Sunday, I will not get back to it till later Sunday. So, yes, Jeff Fisher. Dan, Gary, what's up, brother? Just dropped in. Has there been any trades so far? And what rumors are you hearing? The two big ones, Deshaun Jackson. I saw Deshaun Jackson was actually cut. He's actually just been deactivated. He's not on the active roster. He's actively being shipped. And then I also saw multiple sources saying that Devonte Parker is on the trading block, but nothing's been official yet. So I apologize. And by the way, Gary, if I remember right, you're a Giants fan. I actually like the Giants to cover 9.5. I'm probably not going to bet on that. I may put some prop bets, but for those of you who don't know, I'm going to recap with this. I got Minnesota at plus 1.5. They're now 3-point favorite. I got them as 1.5 point dog. And while I was on the show live tonight, I got New England plus 4.5 and Pittsburgh plus 4. I did that live because, as Amazement says, I got some onions. So first time ever. We'll see how it goes. So hopefully I have a good week. Hopefully you have a great week and a better weekend. Hopefully everybody is back on Wednesday. Don't forget, if you need anything at all, shoot me an email. I will get it either tonight or tomorrow. You email me Sunday, I'm not going to get it. My phone's going to be off. But don't forget, thumbs up. And guys, have a great weekend. I know I am going to. So have a great weekend. Have a great night. I'll see everybody back hopefully Wednesday.